Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. And today we're going to be playing another Pioneer Masters draft during the Spells bonus sheet era. And I forgot to click the record button, but we pack one, picked one to Dragon Lord Jamoka, pretty obviously. And then pack two, there was not anything good in green or white, so we just went for the strongest card in the pack, which I think is the new Far and Away Split Fuse card here. Just really, really nice flexibility on this thing. And when you get to cast both halves, you can engineer a board where your opponent has to sack something pretty good. So that's everything you missed. Without further ado, let's get back into the swing of things with this draft. Alive and Well seems fine. 4 mana for a 3/3 is not great. 5 mana for a 3/3 gain some life is not great. I don't know. It's not the most exciting thing. I think Steward of Solidarity is probably just better than the Alive and Well if we're taking a green or white card to go with Dragon Lord Dromoka, which we probably are because now the blue and the black is not great. Although Slundy Vision I have certainly played in my blue-black control decks before, but I think Steward of Solidarity takes the cake for the strongest card in the pack. Pick number 4 now. We've got a compulsory rest here. We've got another Steward of Solidarity. Just a 2 mana 2/2 on curve that starts spitting out a bunch of 1/1s if we get into a board stall. I don't mind taking another copy of that over the compulsory rest, and I think I probably will go for some green white token nonsense here. Pick number 5. There's an experiment one, which is great for any remotely aggressive deck. If you are curving up the mana curve, this thing gets really big for just 1 mana. So I love that in a deck that already has 2/2 drops, and it's probably just like green-white aggro, curving into the 6-drop Jamoka as a finisher, so we can really draft around experiment one, taking it this early. Huge fan of this, easily taking that over Savage Punch, which is okay removal. It's a little mediocre because you have to have a solid creature on board to use it. And then the Starfield of Nyx is pretty fun, but also pretty expensive. Kind of a 5 mana do nothing in the wrong deck. It's really restrictive to build around it as well. So I just like the pure aggro path we have going for us right now. For pick 6, there's a Heliod's Pilgrim, which is great with any decent auras. And there's not too much else in the pack, so it should be easy enough to take that. Not really excited about it, but I think I can take it over anything here, except maybe Boros Guildgate for some speculation towards red would be fine. But I'll just take the Pilgrim. Pick number 7. Nemesis Immortals is pretty nice in the self-mill decks. I don't think it's going to fit particularly well into green-white, so I don't think we draft it here. Trailblazer theoretically is good in green-white. Green-white is supposed to be about playing some auras and targeting your own creatures with them. But right now we're not doing any of that stuff. Maybe with Heliod's Pilgrim we pick up some Audacities and the Trailblazer plays better. But I think it's probably better to just stay a little flexible and grab a Pilgrim's Eye, because I don't think Trailblazer's going to be that exciting, even if we are the green-white heroic kind of deck. Pick 8. Artful Maneuver is fine for heroic and pretty mediocre in anything else. I think I'd rather take Scatter to the Winds. Once again, it's a speculative pick that we probably won't end up playing because we'll probably still be in green-white, but I'm not going to feel sad at all about missing out on Artful Maneuver, but Scatter to the Winds is genuinely going to be one of the strongest cards in our deck if we are blue, because it's a huge 2-for-1 in the late game, countering a spell and getting a 3/3 creature onto the board. Now for pick 9, the Ghostblade Eidolon is a very solid card towards the green-white core of the deck. Alternatively, going some kind of blue-white Flyers deck, splashing Dragon Lord Jamoka as a path we can take off of Cloudfin Raptor or Void Shatter, so that is kind of exciting. You know, I do love me some Flyers here, and we're seeing some solid blue sticking around here, pick 9. Go for Cloudfin, see if the pivot works well for us. There's Solemnity Vision, which will be fine, but I actually think Azorius Guildgate's a pretty heavy pickup here, because even if we are blue-white, we're definitely going 3 colors here, so Pilgrim's Eye plus Guildgate towards some fixing is definitely valuable. We actually get to play the Far off of the Far and Away as well. This is another thing that's nice about the more powerful split cards. There's only a couple of them. I think Far and Away and Turn and Burn are the ones. But what's so nice about them is that they're really flexible, where it's going to be really good if we are in blue and black, but even if we don't end up in black, we can still cast Far, and that pick ends up still being useful to us later in the draft here. Now we take Solemnity Vision over Alive and Well. That just feels very mediocre, even if we are dedicated green-white. Pick 12, we are super light on gates. We're not going to be the dedicated gate deck for gatekeepers, so we'll grab Nimbus Naiad for just a random flyer. Technically, We could be blue-white splash black, so Possessed Scab here is solid over Knightly Valor. I just don't think that card is super good. It's quite expensive. Yeah, Mizium Skin, fine for blue-white. Another Selene Vision, pick 15. Well, the blue speculative pivot here has really worked out. Last pick Selene Vision, and now we can take a Murmuring Mystic here, grab a bunch of instants and sorceries, and be a pretty sick blue-white Flyers deck. Now, we were lucky enough here that even though blue is way more open than green, we could have still been a strong green deck because we just opened a second green rare. But I'm pretty happy with how I've drafted this in keeping things open and now pushing towards blue here off of this Murmuring Mystic. Pick 2, pretty big fan of the Treasure Cruise, but I am very locked in on splashing the Stramoka if I can, so I'm going to take the Simic Guildgate really highly here. Definitely over anything outside of the Treasure Cruise, because they're just not great in this deck. But that's the card competing here, and I will definitely take the Guildgate over the Treasure Cruise. Okay. Pick number 3, Celestial Archon, perfectly fine finisher. Just a big flyer. Syndicate Messenger might actually be better. It's way less damage, so it kills your opponent way slower, but it plays a lot better against removal. Even if it dies, it leaves a very relevant threat behind, a 1/1 flyer to keep chipping in. Gust of Wind is also excellent. 2 mana, bounce a card, draw a card if you have a flyer on board is an insanely good deal because you bounce any non-land permanents as well. Yeah, I mean, I actually think Gust of Wind is kind of wild, and with the Murmuring Mystic, the double Selene Vision, upping the instant sorcery count is pretty great here. I think we take this over these two. And out of these two, I don't even know for sure which is better, but it's probably Archon by a little bit. I think that just is big enough to make up for the fact that uh, it doesn't protect itself in any way or anything. Pick 4 is excellent again. Another Vision, a Sajiri Shelter, a Hero of Iroas even could be okay here. A Void Shatter. With a bunch of instant speed visions, that's going to make the counter spells even better. So Scatter to the Winds, Void Shatter look like they'll be excellent in this deck. So I'll take the Void Shatter. And if this goes anything like our first pack, we might get this Selene Vision like last pick again. And just have even more instants to hold up alongside them. Really sick looking blue-white deck here. Another thing that's pretty sick is throwing a lifelink onto a flyer, so Hopeful Eidolon could be okay. It is competing for Essence Scatter, and we just said how much I love counterspells for this deck. Yeah, let's go full control on it, grab the Essence Scatter here. There's also the Sky Knight. I didn't even notice the Sky Knight, I'm going to be completely honest, till I already took the Essence Scatter, but that was certainly in competition with those 3 cards. Probably would take that over the Hopeful Eidolon, but still, again, going really controlly off the Mystic here definitely looks like a direction we can take. And at this point, we're kind of committed to that. Now we grab our Treasure Cruise that plays well with a bunch of instant sorceries ending up in our grave. Give and Take is just not an exciting card, so I'm just not even mentioning that Fuse card there. Another Treasure Cruise. You don't want to run too many copies because the Delve, they fight for each other, ripping your graveyard apart, but I think we can run 2 copies still. Pick 8? Yeah, this is the spot to be. Stasis Snare is another instant that we can hold up alongside our counterspells. So I like that quite a bit. There's also Droid Disruption that's excellent, but it looks like at this point we're just wheeling all of the great blue stuff. So we take the Snare and wheel like some more Visions and stuff like that. This is going to be a sweet control deck here. Get a Skirmish here to trade into a couple early creatures from our opponent. I am not playing Artful Maneuver in this deck. It's pretty dedicated control. I mean, it's so dedicated control that a Black Splash towards Possessed Scab and Away is probably stronger than a Green Splash towards Dragon Lord Jamoka, believe it or not. I was just saying, I was so hyped about definitely playing the Green Splash towards Jamoka, but now I'm like, oh, we're so controlling that Possessed Scab is just sick. And we're so controlling that the Vision is better than the Sajiri Shelter. Sajiri Shelter is better the more aggressive you are, and Selene Vision is better the more controlling you are. Pick 13 Lotus Eye Mystics. If we still end up running a lot of enchantments, that will be fine. And what do we get out of the final pack of Magic here? We get an Obnoxious Cruelty for excellent removal off the splash, a Demure Guildgate towards that black splash, or a Compulsory Rest for fine removal in the main color. Again, we still have a decent card if we're splashing green. Our green splash will be like a tiny bit weaker than the black splash, but still good. So we stay flexible by taking Compulsory Rest here and getting a slightly weaker removal spell. So I will do that. That also makes the Lotus Eye Mystics better and have a chance of getting ran here. Pick 2. All right, well, now I need double black to play Ashen Rider, but this is a huge, huge, huge winner. Win condition. Winner. It's just a big evasive threat that exiles your opponent's best permanent when you play it and when it dies. All right, black splash it is. Okay, pack 3, pick 3. There's an ultimate price to splash in, an Azorius Guildgate for more fixing. We already have 24 non-land cards. So I think I'm going to take the fixing whenever I see it. I don't know. Ultimate price is great. Cut a creature for an ultimate price feels like a good spot for this deck to be. Yeah, no, I'll actually do that. I would take a black piece of fixing over the ultimate price now that we're trying to get towards double black. Archaeologist is awesome in this deck. Card plays really well with these flip lands, so if you need this to draw land, sometimes it can, because you hit a flip land off of it. But also just having a really high non-creature count is obviously good for it. So Archaeologist looks much better here than a random red Guildgate. Take that. Ooh. This part of the spells bonus sheet, part the Water Veil. We're a super dedicated control deck that is now trying to make it to 9 mana so that we can make a 6/6 and take an extra turn and then kill them with the 6/6 by swinging with it twice, because the 6/6 has haste. Spend 9 mana, jam for 6, take an extra turn, jam for 6 again. 9 mana is so much, so we have to be super dedicated towards lasting for a very long game, but our deck is already designed in that way, and a Swift Reckoning is going to fit well into it. We just start cutting a lot of creatures now. Another Possessed Scab, another Pilgrim's Eye, a Silk Wrap. Ooh, this deck is going to be sweet. Grab that efficient removal, I think. That Silk Wrap there. Pick 8. Don't believe I will be playing any of these cards. Yeah, no, probably not a thing. I mean, I guess we could maybe double splash. I've got 2 Selesnya Guildgates now. Or sorry, 2 green gates. I can just play 1 forest for Dragonlord Demoka, and I have 4 green sources in this deck. Definitely need the Demure Guildgate. Pilgrim's Eye. The Obnoxious Cruelty came all the way back around? That is wild. I mean, but we've got a full deck here now. We are just taking any fixing we see. Grab that Demure Guildgate. Selesnya Charm can get played in here, because we're splashing the green too now. Consider's also fine. I like the flexibility of this. I mean, we're not doing the trample thing often. We're just doing the exile or make a 2/2. This makes it so we can just flash in a 2/2, trade into their cheap creature, or we can exile power 5 or greater creature later. So it's still pretty good. Here's the Guildgate over the Selesnya Vision. 4 Selesnya Vision is very funny, but the Guildgates are such high picks here, being so splashy. I'm not going to play any Ingot, though. 5 gates, that's not enough for gatekeepers. This triggers when 2 or more of your gates are on the board. So if you're playing this on turn 4, you need half the lands in your deck to be gates for you to reliably draw a card on this on turn 4. Which means you need like 8 or 9 gates in the deck, and we have 5. So in our deck, it would be like, yeah, we can play it once we have like 7 lands on board and probably draw a card. But that makes it way later in the game, way less consistent. Okay. 48 cards here. Let's just run the full-on super flexible counterspells over the Mizium skin kind of nonsense. Probably just run one Treasure Cruise. Plenty of other little miniature 2-for-1 things to do. Cut a lot of creatures here, which makes Cloudfin Raptor worse. Do I have 2 auras in here or just one? One aura in the deck. I think I cut Heliod's Pilgrim. Because if I draw Heliod's Pilgrim before I draw Compulsory Rest, then Heliod's Pilgrim is going to be great. But if I draw it after drawing Compulsory Rest, then this is a 3-mana 1/2 with no ability, and that is terrible. Probably going to lose that game from just the sheer amount of lost card advantage from that. So let's cut those 3 for sure. I don't mind Steward of Solidarity just as like a chump blocking engine in this deck. Double black might still be pretty difficult for the Ashen Rider now that I am also still splashing green. Because trying to hit a green source and double black by the end of the game and triple blue, it is a little all over the place here. What's the enchantment count? 3? That is not a lot for the Lotus Eye Mystics. So that feels like another cut. Yeah, let's probably give up on the Ashen Rider. And just go away, Ultimate Price and Scab. And for green, we have Dramoka and Selesnya Charm. We can go 2 swamps, 1 forest, because I have 2 green gates and 1 black gates. And that'll be even colors of... even amounts of black and green here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, plus Pilgrim's Eye for either. I've got 16 lands in this deck and 3 Selendi Vision. Probably just want to go 15 lands, 2 Selendi Vision. Well, we want to hit every land drop for a very long time with multiple 6, 9, 8, 6. Yeah, really high mana value things to do. I love how efficient our interaction is generally. That's going to be awesome. But yeah, I probably can actually run a really high land count and cut the Lotus Eye Mystics here with the lower enchantment count. Do something like this for the deck. Sick grindy control deck here. There's definitely some other swaps we could do. Play another Treasure Cruise as an option. Another Treasure Cruise over a land. Something we can do because we've got a lot of cheap spells here. I do need to keep in mind I have the 1 Possessed Scab to pick stuff up from grave, but that's it. 1 Possessed Scab. I think I can play 2 Delve cards then. Yeah, let's go double Treasure Cruise then. And we will cut 2 lands, go for 15 land, 3 Selendi Vision here. Plus Pilgrim's Eye, plus just tons of 2-drops still. Yeah, this looks reasonable. What is our white versus blue looking like? 15 blue cards and 8 white. I do have a double white card that's pretty important. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sounds perfect to me. 10, 7 on it. Could maybe go 11, 6, play another white source. But I've got a lot of really cheap white removal and creatures as well, so I want that white mana turn 2. Yeah, we'll go 10-7 on it. This is a super, super spicy deck. This is not at all where I expected I was going to be after the start of the draft. Dragon Lord Jamoka, the Experiment one, just a good green-white aggro deck start. The Stewards we also got really early. But I'm really happy with where we ended up. This is a spicy, super control-y deck. Not the kind of thing that we've seen super often this year, but definitely something viable in Pioneer Masters, and we'll see exactly how viable as we hop into the gameplay, see how this deck does. All right, here we are on the play with all colors. Snap Keep. Hello. There's a Skirmisher. I think I'm going to start with the Steward, though, and just start getting 1/1s here, setting up as many blockers as possible while I sit here and Dirtlefest, as we do in this deck. Playing against blue-black, starting with a flyer. We'll have to Swift Reckoning that for sure. Skirmisher, Guild Gate, Exert. Technically, I should do this during their end step, but I'm feeling lazy. I'm gonna let Arena auto-tap through their turn. Cloudfin Raptor, another flyer, and Zulaport Cutthroat to beef it up. Sure. That is sketchy. Oh, it untaps itself, so I can't even Swift Reckoning. Yeah, that's right. I have to wait till they attack with both flyers, and then I can hit one of them. It's pretty awkward. Also, the Raptor being 2 toughness means the Vigilant Knight does not get to get in here. Yeah, that's rough. Swift Reckoning looking real sad, seeing that Zephyr Winder. That is some bad RNG for us. Ooh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I accidentally opened up OBS and started messing with things. Yeah, I'm not loving how things have gone here. They've got 4 mana up as well, so they may even have the counter spell for this. Okay, they don't have the counter spell at least. But that treasure cruise should get us some more action. Hopefully find whatever we need to keep this board stable. We need something big fast, because Nibelus of Frost is freaking fantastic. I was going to say like fantacular or something. Alright. I need removal. Oh, you're so funny, Void Shatter. 1 turn too late when I easily had the mana to hold you up. Oh wait, no, I don't have double blue. I didn't have the mana to hold you up. Wow, this game has been a comedy of errors for our deck. There's the Stasis Snare, but we are dying to Cloudfin Raptor really quickly. I definitely have to Stasis Snare over Treasure Cruise. Alright. Show me if I'm dead. Got the Mizium skin? Nope. I am not quite dead. Tidebinder Mage. Okay, that's just a 2/2. There's the compulsory rest. 1 card engraved. Blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I definitely can't do both. Alright, well, we compulsory Cloudfin Raptor. Zulaport Cutthroat very much still gets me killed here. Just 5 creatures need to die for me to die. 5 of their creatures, at least. It doesn't trigger off each player. But Compulsory Rest already lets them sack their Raptor to put me to 4. They can attack with Tidebinder Mage, have it trade off, and I go to 3. Ooh, boy. Now they have 1,000,000 creatures. Second blue would have been real helpful. Maybe 10 blue sources is not enough. That's something. Not enough to put us in the lead, but enough to buy us a turn. Oh wait, no, Cutthroat just kills me. Because all the tokens die and I just die to Zulaport Cutthroat. Wow, that's egregious. Zulaport Cutthroat, Master of Waves. Sure. Alright. 0-1, but some really, really awkward draws and a super sick combo from our opponent, so I don't feel horrible about the deck. Some rough variants to start us off. Alright, here we are for game number 2. We immediately have double blue. We have our main colors of blue and white, and a Pilgrim's Eye to find whichever splash color we need first. This hand has super, super good mana. I think because I have Essence Scatter, I can start with Archaeologist here. And if I don't draw land next turn, I can just play a tapped Vision. And I can pick up the Vision as the land to play here. Oh, I did mill my Dragon Lord Jamoka, that's depressing. At least now they'll never expect the black source. Blue-black again. Control mirrors for days. Conspiracy brain tinfoil hat time. That's just how the arena matchmaker likes to do it. Jesse and Thief. That cannot remain. That is a massive issue if it ever hits me. Draw those extra cards. Blood Scrivener also potentially draws a bunch of cards, but it's going to take them a while to get empty-handed. These are far and away, but we need more... Well, we need a black mana for that. Hold up a Void Shatter. Or a Far. Yeah, I'll Void Shatter that. It's pretty big. Black Source. I can either hold up Far or cast the Skirmisher. I'd rather just cast the Skirmisher here. Because I'd like to cast both halves of this together. So the perfect course of events here would be our opponent just casting a good creature. I mean, that works. That does work. Also pretty funny. Okay, so it resolves from left to right, right? So I believe they return the Scrivener, Night Howler falls off, they sack the Night Howler. But I guess now's as good a time as any to figure it out. Yes. No! They get to keep it? Wow. Well, that's frustrating. I thought for sure Fuse was like, you cast this, then you cast this, but I guess they just make it all like one line of text. Where there's no state-based actions in between these two abilities. Right, so Night Howler doesn't even realize it's supposed to be a creature until after a way resolves. That's whack. Treasure Cruise is pretty good against it. Make it a 1-1 here, but it still trades into Skirmisher anyway. Oh, I do have my one zombie that can pick things up from grave, so that's a pretty big reason to not delve Dragon Lord Jamoka. And a Bile Blight, so you can kill my Skirmisher. That is super fine with me. Suppose now I probably will Compulsory the Night Howler. This is not the biggest deal ever. Lost some pretty insignificant cards. I exile 4 from grave here. I guess what I could do is not even have to Compulsory if they don't have another trick. Because I can just exile these. Night Howler goes back to 2/2 and dies. Nice. We both kind of got there. That was pretty cute. Ooh, part the Water Veil. This game is definitely lasting till I have 9 mana. I've already got 7. That's going to be a fun finisher. I guess I need 10 mana to actually hit them with it. Oof, that's not good for me. But they can pay the ultimate price. Sure, right? One, two, three, four, five, six. I need to exile 2 cards. This is what I wanted from this deck. This is going so much better than the first game. We did hit the Possessed Scab to pick up Dragonlord Jamoka. Feels good. Feels good. Unfortunately, like most of the extra turn spells they cast now, they exile themselves when they go to grave, so you can't loop them with Possessed Scab. That was one of the nastiest things you could do in Strixhaven. Probably the sweetest part of Strixhaven was that bonus sheet, because they had like original Time Warp and stuff, if I remember right. And it was actually possible to like pick it up with other spells and recast it. All right, seems like our opponent may have just completely left Arena altogether. They used all their hourglasses last turn. So we might be getting the timeout victory soon. All right, and there is the victory. We are 1-1 now, heading into game 3. We've seen the two polar opposite spectrums of our deck getting crushed by our mana base, not having like double blue for the counterspell, just hitting a bit of a Dirtle Fest, and then just having the perfect interaction and spells there in the second game to just full control it out of there. Super sweet stuff so far, and we'll see which direction this draft goes as we head into game number 3. All right, another excellent opener. Both of the most important colors in the hand with cheap interaction here. The Steward to start lining us up with chump blockers. Selesnya from our opponent. And they pass the turn. We've got a Scatter to the Winds, but I don't have double blue yet, so I think I have to just run out the Vision tapped. And I'd much rather just get a million Vigilant 1/1s than poke for 2 a turn with this deck. So we are just passing through. Selesnya Charm. Super happy to not attack into that. Silk Rep's pretty sweet against it, because even if they blow up the Silk Rep later, they don't get anything back. But I could also just end up making 2 1/1s over time and block with both. If I draw Far and Away or Gust of Wind, those are also really good against it. Bounce the token. Alright, we found a new Silk Wrap target. I would rather get rid of the flyer. Which probably need to do immediately, because if I hold up Scatter, they don't cast anything great. I have to counter it anyway, or I've done nothing with my mana for the turn. Yeah. It's probably on average better to kill a 2/3 flyer. Basically, is their next spell going to be stronger than a 2/3 flyer? If it is, Scatter's going to be better. If it isn't, then Silk Wrap is better, and we don't get to know if it is or not. We have to guess with no information on what's in their hand. That might be better. Depends on what's in their deck now, but I imagine they're playing a lot of heroic spells. They have that. play some heroic trick on Phalanx Leader to try to kill both our 1/1s here. I don't think I want to let that happen. I would rather they tap out for something else and then we scatter that. Okay, they're not even going to tap out. So let's Vision. Far and Away is sick here. Gust of Wind also good, but I don't have a flyer, so 4 mana is real prohibitive. I can Far right now. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Gonna Far right now, he says, and then top decks the Black Source immediately. Tragic. I cry every time. Phalanx Leader gets a +1/+1 counter whenever it becomes a target, even if I counter the spell itself. So if they have any combat trick in their hand, then the attack is still bad there. Now, the double block is only bad if they have 2 combat tricks, because I can counter the first one. And then I still trade into a 2/2. So they have to double combat trick here to eat my 1/1s. And even then, they had to spend 2 spells to kill my 1/1s. Oh yeah, that doesn't feel bad at all. Got rid of a Call Me Ambush. Okay. 3 cards in graveyard. I cannot Treasure Cruise and still have Void Shatter up. It's 5 mana for that. I'm actually kind of far off from it. Okay. They hate their draw. They hate playing against counterspells and they hate their draw, and I guess we're 2-1. Strange concession point there. We'll never know what was in their hand, but apparently it was not good. And we are 2-1 heading into game number 4. Alright. Our 2 most important colors again here with blue and white. We've even got one of the splash colors. We've got the double blue. Not a bad start here. Trying to work our way up to a Murmuring Mystic now, ideally. There's a Voyaging Satyr from our opponent. Okay. To hold up a Scatter here. Tap lands out of the way so I can go untapped land Mystic next turn. Full-on Gates deck, maybe. We see Jund from them so far. There's the Pilgrim's Eye. I'll scatter that. Keep them off the fixing here, because I'm going to tap out this turn anyway. Opal Lake Gatekeepers, draw a card, very nice. Gates deck doing gate things. I don't think there's any instants or sorceries I could draw that I would cast right now, so I just pass and do these at instant speed. Another Gatekeepers, alright. Card advantage Dream over there. I only have 1 scatter in the deck, so we could let that resolve first and we're fine. Find a Treasure Cruise for later. So far, Mystic looks like a reasonable plan to end this game. We have... well, they have no flyers or reach creatures yet. The 1/5 body holds off the 2/4s. Holds off one of the 2/4s, but still. I've already drawn all 3 of my tap spells, so I can't even like cast this and then hit a Selendi Isle to play for the turn, so again, we're just going to hold it up as an instant. Maybe scare our opponent from playing anything too powerful. Wow. 1,000,000 pieces of card draw is what they play. Send in the 2/4s. Wait, what? Okay, I was trying to block one of them, but it's also not the worst to not block here. It plays around a 3 damage spell like an Oath of Chandra. So it's like a little frustrating. I did the drag block and it was like, no, you didn't block. But it's not the worst to not block there. I mean, if they know about scatter, then it's significantly weaker, but I don't really want double treasure cruise right now. And I don't have the mana for away, so just bounce something with far is not insane. Yeah. How's that twice now? Wow. Alright. I guess I need to play really slow and really make sure I'm clicking on the right things. That's so frustrating. I swear I clicked exactly where that counterspell was, but then it does the big zoom in thing and it's like, oh, you're on the other one. 3 cards in grave. So this is a blue and 6. Or a blue and 4. It's 5 mana total. It is exactly too expensive unless I cast far right now, which I definitely don't want to do. I can't believe I don't have the counterspell in my hand right now. We have the 6 mana. It would have been so good. From now on, I just need to be 100% focused on playing digital Magic correctly and having Arena cooperate with what I'm clicking. This is why the paper PTQ was the most fun I've ever had playing Magic. It was paper. Ah. How sick would a counterspell be right now? My flyers can still attack. And I've got 3 of them. Kill them in 4 swings. If they spend next turn re-tapping out for that, I kind of think they just die. Oh, especially with an ultimate price, if we find the black source here, which we can cruise towards. There we go. Murmuring Mystic MVP. I honestly don't even need to ultimate price the Leviathan. It genuinely doesn't do anything here. I get another flyer if I do that. Which means I kill them in 2 swings instead of 3. Yeah, it's better to kill them in 2 swings than 3. I kind of wish I didn't have to do that, because it would be cooler to let it stick around and be like, yeah, I can still attack with all my flyers, but you gotta do what you gotta do. We are 3-1 now with this sick 4-color control deck heading into game number 6. Number 5? Number 5. One day I'll learn how numbers work. All right. Here we are for game number 5. This is a little risky in terms of the amount of mana. We have to top deck a land, but if we top deck any land, we play a Pilgrim's Eye, and that gets us to everything else. So Skirmisher here. We did top deck the land, so we are just cruising on in here. I've got the double blue, I've got green, so we eye for a black mana. I guess I've got 1 double white spell in the deck. But I'm quite likely to just grab a swamp from Pilgrim's Eye. If I naturally draw a land, maybe I don't play Pilgrim's Eye this turn and just hold up a Void Shatter and a Scatter instead. Probably not. We really want to hit every land on turn, on curve. Up to 6 mana. Okay, yeah, I didn't draw land, so we'll just play Pilgrim's Eye, and awkwardly I do need the white source for the Stasis Snare, so if I draw any of my black spells, they're going to be pretty unlikely to get cast. At least till we treasure cruise later in the game. There's the gatekeepers. Very, very similar games here. All the aggro decks just ran away when the spells bonus sheet came out. They were like, no, we're done. That's a lie. Last time we got demolished by like a really brutal Rakdos aggro deck. I had like 5 creatures on board on like turn 3. Sure. We can stare at each other, opponent. If that's what you would like. Kill this artisan before it copies anything big and scary. We got a Mizium skin gamer. Sure. Did not hit the land I was really hoping for there. They haven't had to spend any removal, so it's entirely possible Dramoka just dies without doing anything. But I think I still have to just play the land towards the Dramoka regardless. Show me another Mizium skin gamer. Dictate is cute. Steward's pretty good against it. See if they've got removal for Dragon Lord. If they do, we probably lose, but if they don't, we definitely win. Seven toughness is quite a lot, it's worth mentioning. Dramoka does dodge the common -5/-5 removal spell out of black. There's the Scab to pick up the removal. They don't have... Oh, they do. They have Rapid Hybridization. All right. At least that's a pretty bad removal spell. We still have a 3/3 out of this instead of like exiling Dramoka or destroying it or anything like that. We get to keep some value. Ooh, Far and Away. It's kind of gross. The Dictate plays like decent against that. Make me sack a creature here. Maybe... Yeah, maybe better to just steward and hold up a Void Shatter right now. Because the Dictate. We can shatter the Gate Colossus so it never comes back from grave again. We don't have to worry about it. Okay, I don't think this Possessed Scab attack is going to work how they want it to, but we will take one from Butler. Scab does not trigger Dictate because it exiles instead. Undead Butler does because it dies and then gets exiled. That's what I was reading there last turn. Ooh. That would have been good to know about. Because then I could have just done that to the Gate Colossus and kept the counter spell, but it is what it is. Can't lethal here, but I can do a lot. Not holding up a counter spell anymore, so I could just play a Skirmisher, hold up Selesnya Charm. It's kind of fine. I could Far and Away. That would be the only thing I do this turn. But yeah, just lose a 1/1 this way. This is pretty good. Omnixus is Cruelty on the Steward. There's the Undead Butler again. Spicy. So I win, right? If their last card in hand is just like a land or something, I do win here. Off of the Part the Waterfail into Selesnya Charm. Okay, Gatekeepers to the hand. Sack the 1/1. Take an extra turn, hit for 5. Let's go. There's been some sick games of Magic today. We are 4-1 as we head into game number 6. I do really need to draw lands with this hand. There's no third mana in any way. There's not even like a flip land or anything. No Pilgrim's Eye. I still want to keep it though. I've got Silk Wrap. I've got Far. Any land gets me to Void Shatter because I've already got double blue. So we're going to roll with it on the draw here. See how it does. Another blue-black deck. All blue all day. Basilica Screecher starts it off. There is the Simic Guildgate. I feel like it's better to just Silk Wrap this thing, stop all the flying and extort damage, and then Guildgate hold up a Far next turn. Yeah, we can just bounce that with Far and that'll be fine. And then tap out for Murmuring Mystic turn 4. Yeah, we got a game plan. Down to 18 we go, just in case they play a better creature in their second main phase. They do not. Doing this in the end step is going to make it so they don't get to immediately recast it this turn anyway. Which is nice. Now I do have the issue of all that open mana from a blue deck. Makes it pretty hard to just run out the Murmuring Mystic here. Alright, so they Slundy Vision. It's part of what is so good about that card, is they can easily hold up the Void Shatter, and then when I don't cast Murmuring Mystic, they just cast Vision instead. We do a very, very similar thing in our deck. Oh, we do the exact same thing in our deck. Okay, so now they have to have exactly Essence Scatter. to stop Murmuring Mystic. I mean, I guess they could have the counter unless you pay 1 also. But it can't be any of the double blue 1 counter spells. Like Void Shatter or the uncommon. This is probably a little too safe, but I'm just going to hold. Because I'm playing that as a land either way towards this treasure cruise. So I might as well wait till I have enough to pay the 1, or maybe they tap out for other stuff. That is crazy. What is going on over here with this dragon? I just saw it doing like Dark Souls things. Spitting out laser beams out of the corner of my eye. Okay. That was a pretty good turn to hold up a Void Shatter. There is no world in which I beat a resolved Jace. Two flyer is small enough. I don't have to compulsory it. And Murmuring Mystic only triggers off of instants and sorceries, so it's not like I would get a flyer off of playing that anyway. Clutch of Currents not awakened. Wait a second. Jace Memory Adept? They're playing a deck from the Planeswalker bonus sheet? That I'm confident on. I know for sure that Jace is not in the main set. Unless my mind is going to be absolutely blown right now, and it secretly is. Alright, I'm guessing they have the counterspell for this. And that's what the bounce was about. Yeah. Because they did not awaken this, it's so likely that they did that just so they could do the counterspell here. But we're late enough in the game that if it is one of the single blue mana counterspells, then it is literally Essence Scatter, where it's 1 and a blue. And they can just hold that up every turn from now anyway, so we might as well just get that Mystic out of the way. Get the mana spent. And get another card engraved to make Treasure Cruise cheaper. So we can use this to get ahead now. Far and away? Wait, if it's far and away, then they're not using the Planeswalker bonus sheet and Jace is in the main set. This can't be far and away. Yeah, it's another Clutch of Currents. That's not good. Treasure Cruise costs 4 mana. I can cruise, and if I top deck an untapped land, I can compulsory and scatter in the same turn. Sure. Compulsory off that, scatter off that. So we would hit a tap land. Alright, hopefully they don't have a good creature in hand here. I think Clutch of Currents is also from the Planeswalker bonus sheet. And that card is really nice. This feels unfair. I think there's almost nothing in the spells bonus sheet that matters, but they tried to Jace us. They're Clutch of Currentsing us. We do have the Far and Away. We played our Far and Away. Oh, the Void Shatter as well. Okay, yeah. We've both played bonus sheet cards that the other does not have access to. I forgot about the Void Shatter. Is their own treasure cruise? Yep. Well, I couldn't have scattered that, at least. Come on, no punishment for not holding up scatter, please. No! Card is more than good enough to scatter. I'll have to Gust of Wind it here then. Where are my bangers? I need a banger. Can you find Apart the Water Veils? Little archaeologist. No. I guess Reckoning and Ultimate Price are like the same thing. Here. There we go. Scatter the Winds is a big one too. Scatter to the Winds is a big one too. I've got 8 mana. I can play the Steward and hold up the Scatter Awakened next turn. The Tomebound Lich card selection is good enough to scatter it here. Another conveniently named counterspell, Essence Scatter and Scatter to the Winds, just to make it pretty confusing here. Alright, no follow-up creature. We love to see that. Play this land here, make that forest a 3/3. With Scatter to the Winds. It's a pretty big 2-for-1. Okay, you have the full control with Awaken, and you have to manually tap everything. Because it's insanely bugged. So you have to literally click on all this. If you click autopay, it will tap that forest. Or at least it was doing that. Maybe they finally updated it. Ooh, Dinner of a Horror is pretty sick here. They just kill whatever they want and have a 4/4 body out. Gross. Well, there it goes, beaming me in the face again. This is the tag team matchup. This is not fair. Opponent's playing Two-Headed Giant. Hello. Possess Scab the Treasure Cruise, just insta draw 3 here. Also pick up the Scatter. If they play anything good, I immediately have a counterspell up, and if they don't, then I have the 6 mana Awaken up later. It's definitely Scatter to the Winds or Treasure Cruise. These are quite comparable. I'm gonna go for the Scatter to the Winds. It just feels like it's really guaranteed to be good, but we don't know what we'll draw 3. I mean, we have like all of our bombs left, I think, right? We have Part the Water Veil and Dragonlord Jamoka. Not all of our bombs. We have 2 main bombs in this deck. All right, yeah, we are so fine right now. I can't vision and still have scatter for 6, so I'm just going to poke for 1. Pass. I'll vision in their end step. I'll still have the counter spell up. I just won't be able to make this forest a 6/6 or anything like that. Or get another 3/3. If we have a way to blow up the Death Toucher, I could see this game being won off of a part the Water Veils, making this like a 9/9 and taking an extra turn. All right, what do we got here? Something's going on, something fishy. Pass turn, they say. Treasure Cruise. And all these go to the bottom? None of these are Dragon Lord Jamoka or part the Water Veil, which means those are now in like the top 5 cards or something. Top 7 cards? Yeah, because 5 are on the bottom. Getting to really good odds of hitting some action here. I don't think it matters what I exile, right? Because I've already used all my graveyard recursion. The only way it would matter is if I hit a bounce spell to put Scab back in hand and then recast it, but I think I've also hit all my bounce spells. So there's Dragon Lord. So we need to get to where I can cast that and have 3 up. Which is right now. Cast it and have the counter spell up to protect it. Yep. I guess this is still a little bit risky to cast right now, because they could respond to this by using a removal spell on my forest. And then untap and use a removal spell on Dragon Lord Jamoka. But I guess if they have double removal, they kill it anyway, right? They go to their turn and then they removal spell it, I counter their removal spell it, the second one resolves. Alright, there's the concession. Dragon Lord Jamoka finds us the win, but also the Selene Vision guaranteed the part the Water Veil there as the draw next turn, or in their end step, so we were going to just be all on all win conditions there. Which I guess is prone to happen that late into the game with so much card draw in your deck. We are 5-1. We are guaranteed in the money out of this draft here, getting 1,600 gems and 4 packs back out of it, but we'll see if we can't take it any farther heading into round 7. All right, here we are on the play for game 7. We have the Steward of Solidarity to set us up, give us a bunch of little blockers. Working our way towards the Treasure Cruise, but nothing to put in our graveyard right now, so it'll be quite some time before we get there. There's a Silk Wrap. That is good to have early. Green-white from our opponent. Is it finally an aggressive deck? Next turn they're going to play Dimir Goatgate. It's going to be like, ah, not again. They're actually a Selesnya deck. Locks it on Smiter. Hello there. Goodbye there. Well, if I knew I was going to draw Gust of Wind, I would have been less excited about that. Just plop it back in the hand for now. Ooh, I guess we'll do that to Pelucranos. See you later, Pelucranos. Possess Scab far and away. It's going to take some time to get that set up. Ideally, we just like find the white source in time, but we'll see. Compulsory's okay, but they can still Monstrosity the Pelucranos later, which is not good. I think I'm scabbing back far and away. Force them to Monstrosity Pelucranos right now if they want to kill something. They can do 2 damage by tapping out. So they can kill Steward of Solidarity if they tap all their mana, or Possess Scab. Oh, Miming Slime is really not what you want to do against Far and Away here. They got the counterspell for it? Like a hexproof trick? Obviously they're in green-white, they don't have a counterspell. Sajiri Shelter, I guess? Selesnya Charm for a 2/2 token. Okay, that still plays pretty well for me. We kill a 5/5 and a 2/2. Jam in with the whole board. Yeah, this is fine. That was not a bad turn. Very nice work from Possess Scab. Picking up a Far and Away is brutal. I imagine the blue-black decks certainly got a bit better with the spells bonus sheet, just with how good Far and Away is, and the counterspell is nothing to scoff at. The Exile, your counterspell with the Void Shatter. Alright, opponent passes through their turn. Ultimate price on Pelucranos here to clear the path. They can respond with the Monstrosity to kill this Possessed Scab or the Steward of Solidarity. But then we've got the Pelucranos dealt with. This is a solid draw here, because this is definitely better than compulsorying the Pelucranos. Alright, an opponent fully left the game there. We are now 6-1 with this deck, heading into the final battle. With 2 shots at it, 2 rounds in the chamber here. This has been an excellent draft for this control deck. We're only 1 win away from maximum prize out. 2 shots to do it, so without further ado, let's head into the final battle. Alright, here we are for what could be the final game of Magic if we're lucky. This is a solid start. Obviously, no green source here for the Jamocha, but we don't need the green source for a very long time anyway. I am very likely to be casting this Solemnity Vision with 4 lands drawn already. I just need to draw 2 more lands in like 5 more turns to not need to play Vision. Oh dear. If we were on the play, we could counter that, but, you know, can't always be on the play. I think I hold up Scatter against Boros rather than just playing a Steward and getting it shot with a Wild Slash or something. Yeah, you scatter an Accent Samid, that's for sure. That played about as well as possible for us. So we are doing literally everything we can. Against Boros Heroic again with a million combat tricks, there's no way this Steward is ever actually trading into that. So we're going to cast Solemnity Vision here. Trying to find something like Far and Away to deal with multiple of their threats if we can. The Surprise Swamp has arrived. They're going Mardu with it. And they pass turn. Oh, I mean, I have to take ultimate price, but it can't kill their only creature on board. That is real awkward. So I think we just double spell creature here. Again, working towards getting stable. Just trying to survive till we find green mana. We're pretty lucky they haven't, like, curved out with this Legionnaire. Still a massive threat with a Knightly Valor on it, but it hasn't had, like, a million other creatures alongside it. Having that Essence Scatter up for the Enaxin Samid was so perfect. Like, without that, this game could very well be over in a turn or two. Whoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! GG! Now, we don't literally win the game no matter what, but oh my god, that was the best draw in our deck. That helps so much. We still lose if we never hit a green source and they just keep drawing creatures here. But we are in a much, much, much better spot after that draw. I'd love to Mystic an Ultimate Price in the same turn. I don't think I can afford to do that, though. This just threatens so much with any kind of, like, trample trick or anything. Just blow that up the second we have the opportunity. Currently looking out at creatures over there. I enjoy that. I'm leading with Murmuring Mystic here, because if they had removal, they would have killed Steward by now. And Mystic's a bit better than the Skirmisher. Because if we draw any instants or sorceries we want to play, we'll get significantly more power out, significantly faster. No green source, no problem, fingers crossed. No idea what's in their hand here. Because they've got a lot of cards still. There's the slash for the Steward. Maybe it's just like all combat tricks with no creatures to use them on. Just combat tricks and lands. That's the green source. This game could be ending really, really quick now. Scab Clan Berserker. Combat Trick's going to make that quite nice here. Put a counter on it and draw a card. If it's Renowned, it deals 2 to us. Let's just make sure it's not Renowned, I guess. There is very little that can turn this game out of our favor, and one of the things I'm a little concerned about is the active treason effect. So I can still just kill them next. Are you not on the Planeswalker bonus sheet? You must not be. I can still just kill them next turn going for this route instead of just tapping out for Dragonlord Jamoka. I guess even if they active treason a Dragonlord Jamoka, it's not that bad. Okay. But yeah, we can Selesnya Charm, get a creature and a 1/1 flyer. Gust of Wind, their only blocker, hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Would have been lethal if they didn't have compulsory here, so we were still threatening lethal. It didn't quite get to it, but this is still going to be really good here. Just delete the Gideon, chip away at them a little bit. Just hold up Snare or Vision. Vision if we don't need a Snare. There's the GG from opponent. That is 7-1 from this blue-white control deck with the black and green splashes. This was a spicy one, and I'm really happy with how this draft went. It is hard to be unhappy with the maximum prize you can possibly get out of a Premier draft. A full trophy run for 2,200 gems and 6 packs today. one last look at the deck here. I think the thing that I'm the happiest about in terms of decision points throughout this draft was the pivot towards blue, seeing some solid blue cards late, even after we had like a great little green-white aggressive start. Blue seemed like it could still be pretty powerful, and we took some speculative picks to be open towards the blue, and it ended so well for us being kind of a blue-based control deck here, splashing a bunch of other great stuff. Really fun, really unique deck. It used great spells from the spells bonus sheet as well, so it's also pretty exclusive to the spells bonus sheet era. Far and Away, Void Shatter, and Part the Water Veil were all very pivotal in a couple of those games, especially Far and Away. That was the kind of card of the deck here, showed up the most by a lot. Part the Water Veil was still devastating when it showed up, it just did not show up as often as Far and Away. So yeah, super happy with this run. Not too much else to say there. These like blue-based, really controlling decks, if you've got the super efficient early game removal with them, they are definitely viable in this format. They're a really sweet change of pace from any super creature-focused decks, like pretty much anything we've been drafting over the past year here. So really cool stuff that you can do in this format, especially off the spells bonus sheets. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.